Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. I have to excuse my voice is a little raspy. Today we're going to be playing with Dainty Delights. Dainty Delights and the dies are going to be available in the new mini catalog, which comes out on January 5th. So before we get started and I show you what we're going to make, take care of the housekeeping notes. In the description bar below will be all the dimensions, all the products I used, a link to my online store if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I would love to be yours. My email address, if you have any questions or want to see something made on this channel, please send me an email. You'll also find a link to my Facebook group. We'd love to have you join that. And as always, thank you for sharing, liking, and commenting on YouTube and subscribing. I am still trying to get this channel to grow, and I appreciate everybody's support in that. So on with the project. We're going to use Dainty Delights. This is a beautiful stamp set. Let's try to get out the glare there a little bit. And it does have dies. I already have some of the dies out. There's a lot of dies. This one I'll show you. That's all. I've already pre-cut this, but there's standalone dies and dies to cut out all of these large flowers. So, and if you were to buy this set in the celebration, which also starts on January 5th, you can get the Dainty Flower designer paper for free. This is a beautiful pack of paper, and there is 2 sheets of each. I've only pulled out 1 of each to show you. I'll show you this. We'll do it this way, I guess. And that's the back side, and this is beautiful greens and some lovely polka dots on freesia. This is great for just cutting up, making 6 cards really fast. Beautiful green with floral. That's fresh freesia and Rich Razzleberry flowers with looks like old olive and possibly mossy meadow. Some blue. And we have, these are some that you could fussy cut out or just cut them out in a square and use pretty sentiment in the center and a ready-made card. And we have some beautiful watercolor. Another pack of paper, or florals there. And some more of a different type of watercolor, just a little different. If you're doing scrapbooking, this would make a great page, just these 2 pages alone. So that is the paper pack that you can earn for free in celebration. So on January 5th, I will be able to show you the book, but today, unfortunately, I cannot. So, we're not gonna get the board out yet. Before we get started, we are going to go ahead and do all the stamping on this, and I'm gonna show you what we're making. Get a little ahead of myself here. We are making this card. It comes out and opens up like this. Now, I've seen this card made by numerous people, and it has variations of names, but I'm going to call it the WV Accordion Fun Fold card. I've heard the Fancy Fold card, just Accordion card. I've heard the WV card. This has been out for a long time, and it's an old style. I mean, it's been around for quite a while. But the WV comes in, when you look at this, here's your W and here's the V. But it is an accordion card, and it folds down. So we're going to go ahead and do all of our coloring and die cutting first, and then we will put the card together. So, oh, yes. And I have an envelope, and I decided this paper was so beautiful, I wanted to put it on the envelope as well. So, let me get started here. And get out some of the supplies we need. I have a scrap of white for doing our die cutting. And I have 2 pieces of white cardstock. We'll go through all the other parts in a little while. That are 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And that's for the 2 panels that we'll be stamping on. So, and what I'm using today is I am using Stazon. We are going to be using we're using the markers today, not the blender pins. And so the Stazon does work better, and as the Memento does have a tendency to bleed. Excuse me. Let me get one drink here. So sorry about that. So anyhow, we're going to use Stazon for this. And we are going to stamp this flower first. And I want to make sure I've got it well covered. And we'll stamp that one here. And give it a good press. That looks good. Now, I'm just setting this right here for a moment because I do need to grab a piece of scratch paper because we are going to stamp this same one. I have these two panels and we're going to stamp off part of this, but part of it's going to be on this corner here, about like that. Now remember, if you're using Stazon, you need to use Stazon cleaner to clean it. You cannot clean it on your regular pads with the regular cleaner. You need Stazon cleaner. And this is a great big one. Not the biggest. I am not using the biggest flower. I'm using the 3 smaller ones. That looks good. And then this one, just worrying about the top half here. I'm going to put it on this piece about like that. And then the last flower, put that one here. Oh, that's good enough. A little light on one area, but that's okay. And then we're going to put this down in this corner here. So that's all the flowers stamped. Get rid of the Stazon. And I will take those into the kitchen and clean those later. Now I've grabbed Rich Razzleberry for my verses. The verse that's going on the center card is going to be Celebrate You. And the verse on the back side is that the best is yet to come. I thought that makes a very nice birthday card. But you could use this for any occasion, you know, anniversaries, birthdays, sympathy card even. And we're going to stamp Celebrate You right in the center here. Like that. And the other one, the best is yet to come. We're going to go towards the top a little bit so you have a little bit of room to write. Like that. Now I kept coloring on these very simple. We have 5 colors. We're going to use Rich Razzleberry, Daffodil Delight. This should be Flirty Flamingo, Brushing Bride, and Pear, Pizzazz. I tried Old Olive. It looked okay, but it was a little dark for me, so that's why I went with Pear, Pizzazz. So we're going to start coloring here. Get rid of the scrap paper. And we're just going to do all of... What I did with this one is I just went in here just did all these little pods in the Rich Razzleberry. Like that. So that panel's done. We'll set that off to the side. And then I did this one. The reason I went with this over the blends is I just thought it was darker, and this is there's such little areas. I didn't want bleeding. So sometimes these have their place. And little tiny fine stuff is one of them. I am not the world's best colorist, as I've said in the past. I like coloring, but... So that's that one. Next, we are going to do this one here. And I did that in... I just went into each of these little flowers. And gave a little yellow. Just doing little daubs. And on these berries as well. back to that one, and then this one. Like I said, this is not a long time, it's a very fast coloring job. I'm not trying to be too precise. I'm just, if a little goes out of the lines, it's okay. Or if one doesn't get totally done, it's fine too. I know I get very quiet when I'm coloring. So we'll set that aside. We're not done with this. Well, actually, we're going to do it now. There's 2 centers here I'm going to do in yellow on this one. And on this one as well. Just like that. And then we are going to grab the Blushing Bride. And what I'm going to do is these flowers here, they're open, are going to be the Blushing Bride. And I'm going to do a little bit on this one here. It's almost open. And this one. And this one was halfway open, so I do a little split on that one. And a little split on that one, where I'm going to do half of each color. In this one, we have a little bit of Blushing Bride. And do a little split here, and the rest would all be Flirty Flamingo. So these pods are buds. We're going to make them Flirty Flamingo because they haven't opened yet. Sorry about that. My kitten is outside the door, has woke up from her nap. And it's going a little bit right here. Like that. So you can see, hold that up. We're not done yet. We've got to put the green in yet. Bit on the outside of those in this little pod, and I think that's all the pods. Now we'll get the green out. Just get these. Like I said, if it's not all totally colored, it's fine. It just looks like it's been watercolored almost. And we got a few leaves on this one we need to do. And that should be it. Oh, this little one here. It's a little bit underneath these pods you need to get. And those are those. Let's come over and finish this one real quick. There's one little piece of leaf right there. I know I don't usually do all the coloring, but I decided this one I would. So that's all the coloring on this. So we have 2 panels. I'll hold this one up now. That's the center panel. So we have the 2 panels done. I'm going to set those off to the side. And we need to die cut these. So I'm going to cut those apart. I'll throw that over here for later. Always use big scraps. And we'll get our die cutting machine out. Till I've been doing stuff. Here's some tape all ready for us. And I'll grab the 3 dies. And this one is this one here. I'll try to see if you guys can see this. You can see the 2, it's hard to see, but you can actually see the 2 branches there. You can line up the flowers really easily on this. And I want to make sure it stays in place. Since we did all the work, we don't want to have it move on us. Whoop. I'll have to go after that one. It just flew off the desk and went across the floor. So here's our first flower. Excuse me a moment while I grab the second one that went flying. Here he is. So I guess he wants to be done next. You could really tell easily. This is from looking at the flower here, you can tell exactly which die they go to. Very easy. Line this up. Oh, come on, machine. Old cranky's being cranky on me again, you know that. Sometimes he's just temperamental, that's why I named him Little Cranky. It's not cranky, it's just, I don't always get the plates lined up. They don't like to be straight, they like to be offset. And there's flower number 2. And here's the third one. And line up all the little flowers just like that. I love this. It's such a beautiful set. And here is the third one. Oop. Like that. So let me get the die cutting machine out of our way. We got all our stamping done. Let's put this card together. Well, I missed the garbage can. Okay. So now let's get all the rest of the parts out here. And there is a few. Now that long piece I showed you, the die, I cut this out and it does emboss the leaves and stuff. We're actually going to be doing a little dissecting of this to use this piece. And then we have some panels for our cards. This is for our envelope. We'll set that over there. That was another piece of scratch paper in case I needed it. Our envelope, so we'll put that here for later. These are extra panels, and I'll go through all of the sizes as we go. So we'll set those off the side. So for the base of the card, you need 2 pieces of cardstock, and you can actually get this from one sheet of card. And this one is 11 inches by 5.5. And we have some scoring to do on it. On the 11-inch side, we are going to score at 1 3/4. Now, I normally score with a large tip. This card tends to go back to and keeps its shape better if you use the small tip. Just a little. It stacks up better when you do the accordion, I should say. So 1 3/4, 3.5, 4 1/4, and 7. So that's that first part. The next piece is 6 inches by 3 inches, and we are going to score at 3 inches. Let's very complicated, I know. So this small one, we are just going to fold in half and burnish. And we'll come back to him in a minute. And this one, you're going to start, this is the biggest piece here. This is going to be a valley fold. Okay, then you're going to make a mountain. The next is a valley. And then another mountain. So you look like this. You got your valley, a mountain, a valley, a mountain. So that's how the card looks there. Here you get the W. I'm going to pull this back out though. It's stretched out so we can put our mats on. So I have these mats. I did them in 2 different colors. We have this one here, and then I did the polka dots with the fresh freesia. I thought looked really nice. And then this one and this one. And these are all 1 5/8 by 5 3/8. And then I did a large piece of this, which is it is 3 7/8 by 5 3/8 tall. Okay, so let's get all of our mats down. And this has 1/8 inch borders. It doesn't have quarter. I go back and forth just on different projects what I think would look nice. Sometimes a quarter, sometimes an 1/8, but this one I liked as an 1/8. There's that part. Okay, now this one that was our small piece here, we're going to put your fold on this side, opposite way. Normally a card would be this way, but you want it to go this way because this is the front panel. And what I did was I cut a piece of the polka dot paper out of fresh freesia, and that piece is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, the same as the white pieces I cut. Like I said, all the dimensions will be in the description below. I'll line that one up in the center here. Now the back of this panel, if I can grab it, is this one here, Celebrate You. We're going to put that on. So we have those 2 panels on. Now it's time to mount this onto the card. So we're going to close this up. And I'm using my grid on my paper here. And excuse me one moment. Excuse me, it is so cold and windy here. It's not cold in the house, but it's wind's blowing about 50 miles an hour, and I think it's 18 degrees, so the wind chill's like 0 or something. Ungodly out there. I'm filming this actually before Christmas, so I can have a few days off with my family and not do any crafting. So I'm going to line this up. This is actually 4 inches. It's a little smaller than normal. And I'm going to bring this in. And there's my inch. That's a full inch, and that's a full inch, and I'm right in between those 2. And then I'm going in, so I'm about a 1/2 inch from this side and a 1/2 inch from this side, right about like that. I'm going to hold this down just like that. I'm going to flip this over, and I know I'm only going in about that far. So you could use tear and tape or whatever you'd like on here. You're going to fold that over and hold it for a second. And then we're going to flip this over. Do the same thing, put a little glue on this side. Flip it over and hold it. So there is our WV so far. Now I have another piece of paper of Rich Razzleberry. This one is 3 by 3. I think it's 3 by 3. Yeah, 3 by 3. And this is to mount this one on. So then what you're going to need to do is, the easiest way is just to take this and put it right behind here like this. So you line up all this purple. Make sure it's nice and flush. We're going to put our adhesive on here. And then we're going to hold that there and close the card and hold it for just a second. And when you close this, it's all lined up and hidden behind there. Just like that. So it's time to decorate this card now. So we have our 3 bouquets here. And when I did this, I looked at this and I thought, I'm going to look at my original here. See if I can see where I cut it. I looked at this. This is way too big to go on the front. But then I started looking at this and I'm like, I need 2 pieces of greenery. And I could have cut 2, but I didn't want to. I didn't really need to. So I started looking at where I thought this would cut really nice. So if I can go right in here, you see where I'm going? It's where this split is here, and there's this one here. If I come right in here and gently curve that down, there's my leaf. There's one piece. And then this one, I didn't need this bottom little piece here. So just before where the pieces are hooked together, about like that, I just took that little piece off. I'm going to try to close this. Now, this wants to pop open on you. You want to decorate. Don't fight it. Grab you some blocks. Make the blocks do the work for you. So I want to take and put these 2 here, and I'm let them go off a little bit off to the sides. Okay? So what I'm going to do, very gently, if I can get the glue to come out, just putting little dots of glue very gently, but not going all the way to the top. And place that about where you want it. So I want it to come off the side a little bit. Just like that. And then this one, I'm going to have it come off about like that, but make sure I'm still in. So last one I'm going to put glue on is that one there, not on the top 2. Just like that. And hold that for just a second. Okay. Now, this one I'm going to lay flat in the center this way. I know the blocks seem to be a little in the way, but they actually hold this down, so it makes it easier for me. It's my extra hands. I'm going to put glue all over the back of this, enough to hold it down. I'm going to go right in the center. I'm trying to make sure all the center pieces come to the bottom. Just like that. If it pops up a little bit, it's going to have some help holding it up. Next we have these 2, and we're going to bring them off this direction, about like that. But we're going to use dimensionals. And I know that this one is, the top piece is going to come off a little bit, so we're not going to put a dimensional there. And we're not going clear to the very bottom with a dimensional, because I'll show you in a minute. We're going to put a bow on this, And it gets too bulky if you add a dimensional clear at the bottom. So just sort of hover about where you want this. About like that. No two are going to turn out exactly the same. That's what makes card making fun, is they don't turn out the same. We're going to put those two there. Let me see where this is. That's going to come off about like that. So this one right here, I need a small dimensional, so I'm going to grab a mini real quick. Or you can cut another little piece, but I have my mini sitting here. And we're going to lay that one. So the grain's just sort of in between. Like I said, it's not just like that. And then I made a bow. And I looked around about different colors and stuff, and I ended up going with Fresh Freesia. I thought the Fresh Freesia just added something to it. This is the Open Weave Fresh Freesia ribbon. You could use other colors and stuff. And I've pre-made that bow. I'm going to grab some glue dots. I'm actually going to grab two. And I've showed you how to tie bows before, but my hands just don't want to play ball today when it comes to tying bows. So I'll just put that little bow there. Okay. And then I looked at this and I'm like, oh, these beautiful spring flowers. And I'm like, it needs butterflies. So I grabbed some of the brass butterflies. These are in the annual catalog. I love these things. They're so wonderful. And I'm going to grab my pokey tool. I'm going to go ahead and lift these blocks off. Like I said, the blocks are great when you're working. And I'm going to add one of the large ones up here on the front. And I'm going to add a couple small ones. I'm going to add this one. I think I'm going to put him right in here. I don't remember where I put the other one, but I'm going to put him right off the flowers there. And this one, I'm going to put him right here. So they lay so flat. They're so flat that you can put them on the inside of the card and it really won't make that difference. Now keep in mind, this card with these layers is a fat card. You will need extra postage on this one, just so you know, because it is over the 1/4 inch mark for the post office. So that's our card. I'm going to hold it all up here so you can see it closely. But you can arrange your flowers any way you want. And we have to do our envelope real quick. And this is a piece, oh, I got a loose butterfly over here. He's floating around in the package. I'll get him back where he belongs. So, this is directional paper. So when you're putting it on your envelope, when they look at a card, they're going to look at it this way. So make sure that you don't try to put it on this direction, because when they look at the card, everything's going to be upside down. And this piece is 6 inches by 1 3/4. And I'm going to go ahead and use my Seal Plus on this. Or Seal, not Seal Plus, sorry. You could use glue, but then what you want to do is make sure you're going the right direction. Having it open always helps. And line this up right at the fold. Just like that. Then you just have to flip it over. Curve around. And there is our envelope for our card. So that is the card. It stands up like this, very beautiful. And the envelope. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you give this card a try. It's a lot of fun to make and not too complicated either. January 5th, you will be able to order these stamps and dies I just showed you and get the paper for free. So with that being said, thank you for joining me, and Hope you come and join me on Friday. I am going to believe Fridays. I'm going to actually film it right after this one. I actually have an design in my head, but I haven't made it yet. So we're going to go just off my head and make the card. So we'll see what happens when I do that on live. So join me on Friday and have a good day. Thank you.